So with this video, I just want to have a bit of a foreword. When you're doing this, I would highly recommend that you have another pair of hands helping you. It'll make things so much easier. Like, it was a lot more of a pain than it really needed to be doing it by myself, and I feel like the quality of the overall project kind of took a bit of, it was less desirable. Like, it would have been so much more, it would have gone so much better had I had another pair of hands. So do everything in your power to get a second person to try to help you. Like, it doesn't even need to be somebody that knows anything about cars. Like, it's just an extra pair of hands to hold things up in the positions that need to be held up in. So then you can put bolts into sides of two different things instead of trying to do some kind of weird balancing act of you holding up one side of this 40-pound piece of metal that's like 3.5 feet long, and then trying to put a bolt in on the other side as you're still trying to hold it even with the side that you're currently at. It's so much better to just get a second pair of hands. Can you do it by yourself? Obviously, yes, that's what I did. But like I said, the overall quality might suffer because of that. Second thing I want to have as a bit of a disclaimer is make sure you're on level ground. I had intentionally parked so the passenger rear side was raised probably about a foot, maybe a foot and a half higher than the driver's rear side. And that was because I thought I was going to be smart and give myself some extra space to work. That was honestly a stupid idea. I think I ended up just making it so the frame was just like a little bit twisted, just as it flexes normally when your suspension's off kilter. And with that twist, it made it so things didn't really line up with our holes as appropriately as they otherwise would have. So I just wanted to, address those two things before video starts, just so you guys know not to make those same mistakes. Obviously, free country, do what you want, but that's my advice I can give to you. If that's the one thing you can take away from this video, I hope it's one of those two things. So the first thing you want to do is just crawl underneath your truck, get to where your license plate lights are, and just kind of grab it, twist it, and then boom, you got your light. And then you can just put it into a nice safe spot, kind of like that, and you're good to go. There's another one on this side. You're just going to do the same thing with that one, and ready for step two. Once you've gotten your lights detached, I just want to come out here and just unscrew these two bolts. They're 19 millimeters. This one also has a bolt on, sorry about that camera angle, a bolt on the backside as well. If you can find it, there we go. So you have to put a wrench on that side too in order to get it all off nice and neat. So for those 4 bolts you're supposed to uninstall, they're actually right here. So there's one here, and then on the other side, it's kind of the same thing. You've got, one normally there, and then the other one right there. And then just for reference where we are, let's see if I can do this shot without hitting my elbow again. We've got the spare tire just right here. Bumper gonna be here, and then you can just look over and boom, there are your bolts. So if you guys are doing this by yourself like I am, here's an idea for you. When you get 2 of the bolts on one side out, just go ahead and put a screwdriver through one of them, and that'll help hold it there. You should have by this point broken away this last bolt over here, so you can just like hand thread it, and then you can put your shoulder right here, and then just use that to hold the weight up as you unscrew that one. Take this last bolt out, hold your shoulder onto it so it doesn't fall, and then just pull out the screwdriver on the other side, and then you can just let the kind of weight of the bumper come down on you. It's not that heavy. Like, I'm doing this with one hand right now. It's my non-dominant hand at that too. So I think it's totally doable, which, will inform you guys in a second or two. So yeah, I'd say totally doable to get that down by yourself. It's only been like 2 minutes too since I just shot that last segment. So it's not too terrible. I didn't do it exactly how I described I was going to do it. I kind of just held my hand under this part here and just held the weight of it, used my other hand to pull the screwdriver out, and then sitting underneath it from under the truck, I just kind of grabbed it and then just moved that way. But not terrible. Definitely can do by yourself. Let's get to the next steps.
I don't know what they are just yet, so gonna take a little break and then we're gonna get back to it. So the next thing we're gonna do is just take this bumper bracket, which is just this kind of weird looking arm thing right here off. And we're gonna do that by just taking off this bolt right here, and then normally there's another bolt right there that I'd already taken off. Just kind of have it chilling. I did this a little out of order. Technically you could remove this bumper bracket with the bumper and then just remove it from the bumper once that's off. But you know, this is the way that I happen to do it. So long as I don't have to do any cutting, I don't have to do any funky stuff, I'm all good. Which, removing the bumper bracket will make it so you don't have to do any cutting. So let's get that done. Now is where the real fun begins. We can take our little spacer, which is, you know, that little square piece, and our bolt, and just kind of put them together. You know, they just sit inside of each other, pretty easy. I have noticed though that there's like a flat side to this and a less than flat side. You know, if you got it on the flat side, you have a nice flat bolt like we just saw there. If you put it on the slightly more round side, it sticks up a little bit. I'm putting it on the flat side so that can be as flush as possible. Someone in the comments who knows better might recommend otherwise, but I'll let that be for you guys to decide. So we're gonna put this little assembly just right here in this little hole, which is just, you know, right in the little opening. And once we do that to the other side, we can try to fit our little receiver in there and put the little flange on and try to get it holding together. And so based off of what I'm figuring from this diagram is we want these right here to just go underneath where we have our little assembly that we just put there. So I'm just gonna try to lift that up, put that there, and get those little washers on as well. It'll be fun to do by myself. Let's see if I can give you guys advice after I get this done. So my advice to you, if you're doing this by yourself, make sure the bolt that you had right here, so like the last bolt that this thing slid into here, is just removed. I had mine still chilling there because I didn't want to lose it. As you can see, I already attached all the other bolts back to where they're supposed to go so I don't lose track of them. So I put that there, just made it so I had to, you know, take this off and take these out before I could slide it on. But besides that, it's totally doable to do by yourself. I think this thing weighs like 40 pounds, and you know, with the setup that I have, you know, I've got plenty of space to just kneel down. I might just put this on my quad and then just lift it with my arms from either side and slid it on. It's a relatively snug fit, actually, so it's not terrible, and you can just use your knee or your thigh to hold it up while you just get those little threaded pieces on at the bottom there. Not bad. All right, so this part right here is actually a little bit tricky. So getting this back on, you want to get this little hook through this opening here, but then also have it hook on to this part of like the end of your frame there. And so, you know, just to kind of show you the hole that's going through on the side that's not done, we're just trying to go through that hole. But it's a little tricky because you're trying to get that in there with pretty tight space. And I was having an issue of the end of this little rail here hitting the bottom of, I guess, my leaf springs. And it wasn't really a very fast process to get here. Not gonna lie, I've probably been here for like 40-45 minutes trying to just figure out how to make that work, and I've just kind of got it set in there. So what I did is I just had these all loose, so like you can see it's like as loose as possible. I still need to go through and put some blue Loctite on there, just to give me a little bit of room to maneuver, because these things, they're pretty much just as long as the holes are. So you kind of got to slide it in from the side, which is why you end up getting caught on your leaf springs there a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry guys, I don't really have a great setup for this right now. But yeah, just keep trying. You'll get it to work. It's just kind of a pain in the butt, admittedly. Like, don't feel bad if it takes you forever. Like I said, it's probably been 45 minutes, maybe an hour, that I've been trying to just get to here. And I don't even know if it's really fully considered there yet. So I'll just keep trying to go. All right, so I feel like that's probably more what it's supposed to look like. I did manage to get both sides in, thankfully, so that's nice. I did have to resort to some methods of physical persuasion, as you can see by the rubber mallet piece of wood and the C-clamp. But, got it in there. So let's get to the next spot. Sorry, y'all. Kind of got to the point where we started putting bolts back in, and just kind of kept doing it. I would not recommend doing this on your own. Kind of a pain in the butt. If you're able to just convince a friend to come over with a six-pack or something, that would definitely be the move. The amount of, physical coercion and whatnot that you have to do if you do this on your own is kind of a bit. So, I mean, I have everything loosely in right now. The next step is, obviously I don't have the screws that hold the bumper on, but that's fine. Bumper goes on last, and it's pretty easy to get these in. But the next step is torquing everything. So torque figures, that's kind of where it gets a little bit funky. If we look at the paperwork that this comes with, it says torque M12 fasteners to 86 foot-pounds and the half-inch fasteners to 110 foot-pounds. But what you guys saw earlier is, we only have this one type of fastener right here, at least that comes with our kit, and you only torque it from one spot. Sorry, my sheet's trying to blow away. You only torque it from one spot, and you just have one on the left and one on the right. So, I'm no engineer, but I would imagine those are pretty much identical in torque specs. So I'm not sure why we have two different torque figures here. If someone else knows more, please put that in the comments. For other folks as well as myself, I'd like to know. I'm not going to go back and redo this, pain in the butt, but it'd be good to know. For the torque figures for your regular bolts, you're at 59 foot-pounds. So all of your stock bolts that we have, so like these guys, and everything else, let me actually double check on these guys, and then I'll let you guys know. But I'll also put up those figures where I found them. It's like just an online service manual. I did some auto shop classes and had access to that, so I still occasionally will go and find things from there. But I'll try to put that in the video somehow. I'm not very adept at this, as you might be able to imagine from watching this video, but I'll try to figure out how to put that in there so you guys can see and realize I'm not just talking up my behind right now. So yeah, we will just go ahead and Loctite some stuff and put these on with their torque figures. So I'm pretty much just going to go for the low torque figure for this, which was the 86 foot-pounds for this guy. And I'm going to see how 86 foot-pounds feels. If it feels like it could still go quite a bit, I'll do the 110. But, that's your call. Do what you want for that. So I finally got everything torqued down in there. I just went with 86 foot-pounds for these. And it is 59 foot-pounds for all of the factory bolts. So you should be good there. If you need help holding this up and on your own, if you've got a high lift, probably just a regular jack or a floor jack, that'd be helpful too. Yeah, I would highly recommend you don't do this alone. Not a good time. If you want to, it's possible, but try to see if you can have someone else help you out. And there we go. And if it doesn't look level, it's because the truck is not exactly level right now. I parked it like that thinking that I would have a little bit more wiggle room underneath there, and not necessarily. I just kind of had less on the passenger side, but it's done. Got everything torqued in. Oh, just have to put my backup camera back on, the license plate. Oh, but yeah, should be good to go. Just need to put in the 4-way flat and then the 4-way flat to 7-way round, but that'll all be another day. Hopefully this is helpful. Very last thing, don't forget to plug your license plate lights back in, like I almost just did. Oh gosh, having this thing in the way is actually making things a little trickier to see. Who would have thought? But just gonna put that back in there and then just twist it down and we're good to go. And then just do the same thing on the other side.